Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another one of our live classes. Today we'll be dedicating the next about 45 minutes to improving your communication skills. I'm going to show you a trick or something that we can always use so we don't struggle with forgetting vocabulary. A lot of people come to me in the messages and ask me, Chubby, how do I remember vocabulary? How can I freeze up in the middle of a conversation looking for a word to use? And I say, well, first we need to create those memories. We need to start with sentences or expressions that are used in real context. So the question is always, how often do you spend time looking at or listening to, analyzing conversations? Because one thing that helps a lot of my students with improving their vocabulary is that we look at let's say 3-minute interview or a podcast episode, and then look at the script and try to think about not trying to get overwhelmed with all the phrases and expressions. Just say maybe 3 to 5 expressions, sometimes 7 if you have more time or capacity, that you want to take away from that conversation. And I think when we start looking at real context, not just a list of words that we want to practice, we're going to make a lot more progress as well. Remembering vocabulary and also being able to use expressions whenever we need to. So this is a really, really great trick. And I have a conversation with us that we're going to have a look at today, which is going to give us a lot of examples of how. I'm just going to add my PDF. So here we've got my PDF in a second. Yes, so we're going to have a look at this conversation and trying to look at some of the phrases or expressions that we can learn from it. Now, why is this going to be super useful? When you look at a real conversation between two people who speak English, you're not just going to find examples of real sentences or phrases, but you'll also be able to make sure that you don't make mistakes. When you learn, this is something we focus a lot on with my students in my classes, because I don't want my students to make too many mistakes. I want them to make mistakes. I want them to get the feedback on it from me or from one of my coaches. But the main goal for them is to make sure that they can speak fluently. They don't need to think all the time. Now, when you learn phrases, when you learn sentences, you don't need to freeze up. You don't need to pause in the middle of a sentence looking for the next word, because you learned the whole expression or phrase as a complete phrase without thinking. And I think this is partly why looking at conversations like this is going to be useful. So I'm going to be just quickly making sure our TikTok audience is able to see us as well. And then we'll be looking at sentence by sentence at what these different expressions mean. So this is a conversation between two people, and in general, their goal is to discuss different options. Like many times we have casual conversations with colleagues, people around us, friends, where we need to make choices, where we go out for dinner, what we do for Saturday night, what project we are going to accept, what are we going to do about those projects. And this all starts with making sure that we know a couple of expressions that we can use here. So if you allow me for a few seconds, I'm just gonna add our YouTube video, and then we're going to start our live as well. So also I'm going to ask you to be active in the chat as well. Feel free to be as active as you can. And we're going to start. One second. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a look at these different expressions in this conversation. Like, so first, so the characters say, you're finally looking at that brochure, or there are some interesting things, aren't there? So the first thing you can notice a lot of people do in conversations is asking questions, right? So when we are talking about a conversation, we don't just want to We don't just want to say things, we want to ask things as well. Keep the conversation going, right? Super important skill for us to practice is keeping the conversation going, because we want to make sure that the person responds. So one of them is asking questions. These are called question tags that you could see on the screen. I don't think I can write on this, but you can clearly see that one of the best things we can do is ask tag questions as well. Ask what the other person is saying. It's hard to learn English, isn't it? Or sometimes we don't have all the energy we want to meet people at the end of the day. Do we? Right? So asking tag questions are going to help us a lot in keeping the conversation going. And this is something we practice so often with my students. And then if we look at the next line, what we can clearly see is, are you sure we should do the same course, Don? And then it says, yeah, so we can talk things over afterwards and stuff. I haven't taken a course for years, so it would be nice to have some support. Now, talk things over. How often do you use this phrase? I'm going to just put this here on the screen and you can think about it. So talk things over. Could we think about another way we can say this? What is another way? We could say talk things over. Discuss things, right? Discuss things in details. So who are people in your life? You can always think about this, that you talk things over. You often talk things over. One of the best ways I help my students remember vocabulary in our classes is that we ask questions. Questions are very powerful because they make you think. And when you think, guess what happens? You create memories, right? You make more memories for yourself. So you could think about one question here about talk things over. Who is a person in your life who you talk things over? In my case, for example, one of my best friends is my sister. She's about 3 years younger than me. She had her birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, sister. And one of the things that we like to do almost every day is chat and on WhatsApp, sending some voicemails, voice messages, and we talk things over. Or when you have a fight with someone, you have a conflict with someone, one of your friends, your partners, you can talk things over, right? You can discuss things. So that's one of the ways we can use this phrase. And then we have a one here which says, that makes sense. Now this is going to be our first key vocabulary, key expression, that makes sense. When people share with you some good idea, you could just simply say, that makes sense. So instead of saying, oh, it's a good idea, right? Just simply say, that makes sense, right? So we can say something like, if you want to remember vocabulary, you need to make sure you spend time with focused learning. You need to be consuming a lot of content, actively listening, taking notes on useful expressions in a movie, and you're going to remember. And then somebody could say, that makes sense, right? So if anybody's just joined us on TikTok as well, head over to YouTube. There's a link in my bio. You can join us on YouTube. Please don't make sure for better visibility, you come over, you click on the link in my profile picture, and you can check upon what we talk about here as well. So that makes sense. A very, very great expression you can use when you agree with someone. Instead of just saying, that's a good idea, or that's right, or you are right, you could just simply say, that makes sense. And then the next part says, and anyway, we've both been a bit lonely ever since Sonia and Adam went off to Hungary, to university. So we should do something together, right? Right, okay then. Any thoughts on which course to take? So we have our second useful expression. Any thoughts on da 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 da? It could be which, where, what. So when you look for opinion from other people, right? This is something we practice so much with my students. We want to ask things like, any thoughts on? Any thoughts on what we should have for breakfast? Any thoughts on where we should go after dinner? Any thoughts on which course I should take? Any thoughts on who we should invite? Any thoughts on is a question, very not slang, more informal question you can ask about someone else's opinion. So just simply say, any thoughts on what should we ask? Any thoughts on where we should go? Any thoughts on what we should buy for her birthday? And then you're going to use that as well, right? So can we try and make some sentences here as well? Feel free to come over to our YouTube as well. There's a link in my bio. If anybody wants to participate, we've got a comment section and we can participate on this free class as well. So if you're interested and you're serious about learning English, make sure you click the link in my bio and you're going to be directed to YouTube where you can actively participate. And if you're not interested in learning English, this class is not for you. So we've got a really, really great expression here. Any thoughts on? Could we make a sentence about this? Feel free to share in the comments. What is an expression we can use to add to any thoughts on? Could we make a sentence? So a few ideas I've shared were, any thoughts on what we should have for lunch? Any thoughts on which TV channel we should watch? Or any thoughts on which series we should watch on Netflix? Any thoughts on what we should call our new dog? Could we think of any example here? Any thoughts on da 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 da? How could we continue this? Any thoughts on? Let's leave a comment. No one wants to leave any comments? So I'm asking the brave people in the comment section, whoever is watching this on live, whoever's watching this on TikTok as well, head over to the link in my bio and you can join us, the free class. And if you're not serious, we cannot help you. So make sure you swipe on. Feel free to leave your comments, be brave, courageous, and you can improve a lot if you're using the comment section. Thank you so much, Unknown Girl, for all the likes. So any thoughts on? Okay, nobody wants to leave a comment. We're going to move on. I always say a comment missed is a missed opportunity to learn. So be brave enough to take courage and leave that comment. So the next one is, when we look at the next sentence, it says, well, I think for me, it's a choice between 2 or 3. So again, if you have 2 things, we often practice with my students talking about choices, making decisions together in the class. That's how they improve their conversation skills. One of them could be, it's a choice, and I'm going to give you a synonym. It's a choice between A and B. So you can come up with 2 concepts, and you can say, it's a choice between Paris and London. What is your favorite destination to travel, for example? That's a great one. So if you have 2 choices, it's hard to make the choice between the 2. What is your favorite destination? Where would you like to go? What is on your bucket list? A trip or a place you want to visit where you can imagine spending, let's say, a week or 2. What would be that place? You could say, for me, I haven't been to Australia, but I also haven't been to South America. So I could say, For me, it's a choice between Australia or South America, right? Or we can be even more, oops, we can be even more, what did I do there here? How do I go back to the comments? Oh, so you could say, for me, it's a choice between Australia and Peru, because I really want to climb Machu Picchu. Anybody else wants to climb Machu Picchu? So share your ideas in the comments, whether on TikTok or on YouTube as well. What is your what will be your top two favorite holiday destinations? Where would you like to travel the next time you travel? What have you been saving up for? What have you been waiting to go to? One of my students, Erika from Mexico, she's preparing for her major trip to Southeast Asia. So going to spend 2 weeks in Singapore, Thailand, and Cambodia. And I gave her a lot of recommendations because I've been there. I spent about 7 months in Thailand, a month in Cambodia, and another, how long that was? Yeah, about a week in Singapore. So what is your favorite destination? Leave your comments. Feel free to leave your comments. Thank you so much for the support. Those brave people who take courage. You guys know the importance of courage, right? On TikTok as well, or anywhere. Take courage and leave a comment with an example. Don't just spend most of your time with what most people do. Most people are never going to improve their fluency because all they do is listen. All they do is observe. They're not learning to use the expressions, right? To communicate. So be different from most people. Be the one who takes courage. Be the one who does something, even if it makes you feel nervous, even if you feel like you're gonna make mistakes, leave that comment. This is so important. That's part of the way we overcome our fear of mistakes. How we take courage and say, we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to always say everything perfectly, but we can try. Because if you never try, what are you learning? My favorite country is Italy. So the question, Abdul Kali, sorry, that's a Sephora teacher. Thank you, unknown girl. My favorite country is Italy. So if you could have the choice, we want to practice this phrase here. Abdul Kadir Khalifa 6. So if you could visit 2 places in Italy, which 2 cities would you choose? You could say, for me, it's a choice between Rome and Milan. Or for me, it's a choice between Florence and what else? And Naples, because I haven't been to these 2 cities. So for me, it's a choice between Naples and, what did I say? And Florence. What would be your choice? What would be the 2 things that you would, I would like to go to visit Germany and America. I would like to go to Korea, Russia too. Awesome. Nice. Definitely lots of places. So time to level up your English, because English is going to help you so much when you travel. Rome. Awesome. So if we have a look at the next phrase, and guys, you can come over to TikTok, right? So you can come over to YouTube. If you click on my TikTok bio, just gonna move on to mine. There's a link where you can click on and join the class on YouTube, right? There's gonna be a link here. So just check my profile and you can click on the link and it's going to direct you to my live here on YouTube. So you could see the screen. So the next thing we want to focus on is right here next to us. So which ones? I like the sound of this one. I like the sound of this one. This is one of my favorite ways to say good idea. So I like the sound of visiting Korea, for example. So anytime you want to say that you agree with something, that you like an idea, that you want to choose that idea, you can just simply say, I like the sound of visiting Korea, right? So you could see the comments here as well. I like the sound of visiting Korea. So what you can use this expression in all kinds of different ways, right? So what if we go out and you want to have dinner with your friends, and you could say, should we have noodles, like maybe Thai noodles or Japanese noodles, or we should have pizza? What would you say? Would you say, I like the sound of eating noodles, or I like the sound of eating pizza? Let's see in the comments, guys. Just type in the comments. Fire up the comments. Brave, courageous, serious people. We need those who are actually serious about learning to speak English. Like we've seen Unknown Girl. I like the sound of eating noodles. Perfect. Let me just highlight that. Like the sound of pizza. Brilliant. Okay, so we can use this. Now, what about, thank you so much. What about if you could, let's say you have a free Saturday. What would you like to do on a Saturday? Let's say this Saturday. We could say, I like the sound of watching a movie in the cinema, right? So I like the sound of watching a movie. What would be something that's a good idea for you? Let's leave one comment. I like the sound of pizza. Okay, that's something we've seen before. Come on, head over to YouTube, guys. There's a link in my bio. If you go back, you close the live, there's going to be a link in my bio that leads you to my YouTube channel. And you'll be able to come on here, and I'm going to bring you here, and you can talk to me, like right next to me, right here as well. So feel free to join. If anybody wants to practice speaking, having a conversation with me, feel free to join. This is your opportunity. Only if you're serious about learning. I like the sound of watching my favorite movies. I already have a list. Awesome. So what kind of movies? We can even break that down, right? To practice even more. So we could say, I like the sound of watching thrillers. I like the sound of watching. So sorry, that was a mistake. I like the sound of watching thrillers. Come on. Yeah. I like the sound of watching thrillers. Hello, Lamadeep. How is it going? Nice to have you here. So I like the sound of watching thrillers. Who wants to come live with me? Who wants to come here and practice with me right next to me on the screen using some of these phrases? If anybody wants to, let me know. And I'm going to send you the link so you can join us. And then we're going to go back to the expressions here. So we've got, I like the sound of, great expression. And then we can see the next one. It says, Bollywood workout. It could be da da da. And then the answer is, there's no way I'm doing that. There's no way I da 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 da. Okay, so the next expression is, if you don't want to do it, there's no way I'm gonna whatever. So there's no way I'm going to do bungee jumping. There's no way I'm going to waste my life in fear. There's no way I'm going to be afraid of making mistakes when it's normal. There's no way I'm going to procrastinate on learning English. There's no way I'm going to write 100 pages worth of a letter, right? So what is something you wouldn't say? There's no way for me to visit Russia at winter. So at winter, what's the preposition with winter or any season? You could say there's no way for me to visit, but I wouldn't say that's the correct way to do it, right? So you could say there's no way I will do something instead of there's no way for me, okay? So there's no way I will visit. There's no way I'm going to visit. Much more common than there's no way for me to do something. Okay. There's no way I am to exercise regularly. Why not? One of the fastest ways, Lama Deep, to improve your memory is to exercise regularly. What holds you back? To go to the gym like once or twice a week, or go for a run around where you live. I can tell you, one of the fastest ways you are going to improve your memory, your thinking, also things around overcoming fears is exercise. A lot of people are not taking action. They are not remembering vocabulary. They are scared of speaking because they don't exercise. Exercise is one of the best ways you're going to keep a healthy mind, healthy body with healthy mind. So what holds you back from exercising regularly? So yes, in winter. So no way I'm gonna go to Russia in winter. Always remember that, right? One of the fastest ways people build good memory is regular exercise. So it's a choice. And then we have the next one, the next column. For you, maybe, but I'm sure you remember I can't dance. I look like an idiot. Well, this is your chance to learn. And then, no thanks. What else did you like? Oh, yes. What about creative writing? And then says, yes, it's a thought, but I can't make up my mind about it. So it's a thought is like, I'm considering it. Okay. So you could think, yeah, it's a thought. I'm considering this. This is a useful thing that I might do, but I'm not sure about it, right? So it's a thought, a very useful expression as well. Make sure you practice that the next time you have a conversation, right? If anybody is looking for opportunities to practice, we're going to have a massive free challenge starting next Wednesday. We're going to have events to help you with your vocabulary, events to help you with your listening skills, opportunities to have conversations. We're going to have 3 or 4 challenges. It's going to be 11 days, all for free, full of classes, conversation circles, opportunities, trainings, so you understand more about what you need to do to improve your fluency and gain confidence as well. So if anybody wants to join us, there is a link in my bio on TikTok and under this this live video as well. You're gonna see it. Make sure you join us. This is all free for anyone who's serious about learning, anyone who wants to improve their life, who wants to improve their career opportunities, maybe move to another country, earn more money, and is serious about making changes about their English. I'd love to see you there. This is a challenge that I designed for professionals, lawyers, psychologists, marketing specialists, teachers, business owners, students, or academics, serious people, so we can learn together how to make progress, remember more vocabulary, speak more fluently, no more hesitation, no more stress around learning English, and communicating confidently. If this is one thing you want, make sure you join us. There's going to be a link in my bio. We've already got people signing up. We have been filling in the places. There's going to be loads of events, all for free, off of social media inside our community. So click the link in the bio, in my bio on TikTok, or click the link under my profile picture and join us. Now, if we go back to some of these phrases, we have this phrase, which is one of my favorites. I can't make up my mind about it. So we can use this phrase as well. I can't make up my mind about whatever. So in my case, I'm going to travel to Mexico next week. No, in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Mexico for about 4 months, hopefully. Well, May, June, July. Yeah, maybe a bit of August as well. So I can't make up my mind about visiting the countryside or not. or I can't make up my mind about spending 2 weeks in Cancun or spending 1 week there. I can't make my mind up about, sorry, again, make up my mind. So I can't make my mind up about going to the beach or spending time in the jungle. Now, what is something you can't make your mind about? I can't speak today. What is something you can't make up your mind about? Can you guys share in the comments? Something you cannot decide. I can't make up my mind about living in Japan or in Malaysia. For example, I love Malaysia. I spent about 3 months there, and if you haven't been to Malaysia yet, it's an incredible place. Good food, good people, good weather, nice prices, everything amazing there. I spent 3 months, and it was one of the best part of my life. But I also spent 3 years in Japan. So if I could choose between Japan, which has great food, not always very positive people, but amazing culture as well, lots of history, or Malaysia, I can't make my mind up about living in Japan or Malaysia. What is one thing you've been considering? What is one thing you can't make up your mind about? You could say, I can't make up my mind about buying a new bag or new shoes on Fifth Avenue. Anybody knows Fifth Avenue? Whenever you visit New York, go to Fifth Avenue, right? That's an amazing place. Lots of different stores and shops are selling their stuff there as well. I can't make up my mind about buying a new bag or new shoes on Fifth Avenue in New York. What is one thing you can't make up your mind about? You can't decide, you can't make a decision about. Can you guys share in the comments? Today, the comment section is super quiet. So if you're here, if you practice, if you take the courage to use what we are doing here, I'm going to be able to help you, just like we've helped Unknown Girl as well. So what is one thing you can't make up your mind about? And I wrote this incorrectly. So I can't make up my mind about, and then whatever. So what is something you can use here? What is one thing you can't make up your mind about? You can't decide. You can't make a choice. Can you leave your comments? Serious people, serious English learners. This is your chance to practice. No one wants to leave a comment? Don't be like most people. Most people will never take the courage to improve their English, right? Most people are never going to gain confidence because they never try, because they keep watching, they keep consuming, they keep scrolling on their phones. Don't be like most people. Be a brave person. Take courage. If speaking English can improve your life, if speaking English can help you improve your quality of life, can give you more opportunities in life, then do it. Take courage. Use the phrases, right? Learning English is not about just passively watching someone online. So many people do that. So many people watch lives and they never improve their confidence, right? So it's all about that. I can't make up my mind about, and please, teacher, give me example. So, Lamadi, part of learning is paying attention. I gave you 5 examples already, right? Start thinking about a few examples. I can't make up my mind about buying a new bag. I can't make up my mind about living in Japan or in Malaysia. I can't make up my mind about eating, I don't know, Caesar salad for lunch. What is one thing you can't make up your mind about? Can you share in the comments? All those courageous, brave people, I'm speaking to you guys, not to people who are never going to try, not to people who are never going to overcome their fear of making mistakes, right? I'm speaking to you who takes the courage, who wants to improve, who wants to do their best. Take an opportunity here and practice. Feel free to leave your comments. Don't be like most people. I always say that, right? The best way you're going to make progress, improve your fluency, gain confidence is if you don't act like most people. Most people are gonna stay scared. Most people are never gonna try. Most people are never gonna reach advanced level because they don't try. They don't communicate. They hide. They are ashamed of their mistakes when they could learn to be okay with them. That's my mission, right? It's about helping my students overcome their fear of making mistakes. Where does it start? It starts in the comment section. It starts with taking courage and trying to practice. No person has ever improved their confidence in speaking English by constantly watching lives on social media, right? Is that a brave person? Is that someone who's responsible? Obviously not. So take your opportunities and practice. So we're going to move on to the next one. Learning is about taking the opportunities, using the opportunities. Good point, actually. Which one did you like? And then, well, actually, I wouldn't mind doing a course in first aid. It's certainly a useful thing to know. You can't make up your mind. You can't make up your mind about my education. So Dilip Lama, just make sure you remember that it's gonna be up. Okay, make up my mind. Make up my mind. Make up my mind about something. The next thing is using the expression I wouldn't mind. So wouldn't mind is a bit more advanced. I don't think many people would use it, but I wouldn't mind whatever. So if you are okay with something, you can just say, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind spending 3 months in, let's say, in Canada. I wouldn't mind traveling to New Zealand. I would love to do that. I wouldn't mind eating, what's my favorite food? Pizza for a week. Or I wouldn't mind staying in a luxury hotel like at the Hilton for 2 weeks in Mexico. What is one thing you wouldn't mind doing? Can you guys share in the comments? I wouldn't mind, and I can give you a few examples. So I wouldn't mind staying at the Hilton for a week. Or I wouldn't mind traveling to Germany for a weekend. We use wouldn't mind for something that's okay for you to do. Oh, apparently YouTube doesn't accept my comment here. Don't know why. So wouldn't mind. What is one thing you wouldn't mind doing? I wouldn't mind traveling to Germany for a weekend. What is one thing you wouldn't mind doing? Can you leave a comment with the expression? Thank you for the rose. Gailan Gardi. Are you somewhere in the UK? You've got some nice picture there in London. You probably live in the UK as well. That's great. So what is one thing you wouldn't mind doing? What is one thing you would love doing? You would definitely do. Yeah, he said. I wouldn't mind looking like that. Okay, you wouldn't mind looking like, mm, Jason Statham, or you wouldn't mind looking like Vin Diesel, or something like that. We can say that, right? What else we wouldn't mind? Thank you so much, Lily Plama. He gets it. He gets it, right? Practicing your fluency and communication skills is all about taking the courage and practicing and paying attention to some of these things, like looking, wouldn't mind looking, and using the phrases. We've got 5 minutes left, guys. Who else wants to practice here? Let's go and have a look. So let's see one more sentence, either in the comments on TikTok or on YouTube as well. What else you wouldn't mind doing? I wouldn't mind drinking 3 coffees a day. I wouldn't mind taking a walk in the park. I wouldn't mind meditating for an hour. What else we wouldn't mind doing? No one else wants to leave a comment? Then we're gonna move on. So that doesn't really appeal to me very much. Again, another phrase that doesn't appeal to me very much. Okay, so awesome. I wouldn't mind traveling to Korea for a month. Yeah, Korea has been pretty popular, I guess. I've been talking to so many people and they all want to travel to Korea. So what holds you back? What holds you back? But this is a great example here, right? I wouldn't mind traveling to Korea for a month. What holds you back from improving? From going to Korea. So the last one, we're gonna have a look at this and then wrap up. That really doesn't appeal to me, right? So we can say whatever really doesn't appeal to me. So what doesn't appeal to you? We could say lazy people complaining really don't appeal to me. Right? So doesn't appeal to me or don't appeal to me, right? Like how many people are so lazy and they complain, they are depressed, but they don't do anything about it, right? They want to learn English, but they don't learn English. They don't practice having conversations. They avoid practicing and then they complain. So lazy people complaining don't appeal to me. Don't come to me and say you can't improve your English if you don't practice, right? That's just, yeah. We can't complain about results we don't do. So we can say that really doesn't appeal to me. What doesn't appeal to you? We can say things like bungee jumping really doesn't appeal to me. Bungee jumping, or I don't know, can think of anything else, like horse riding, or what else I don't like? I don't know. Gardening really doesn't appeal to me. So what is something you don't like? Where, in what ways could we use this phrase, right? I want to see a comment coming on. Bungee jumping really doesn't appeal to me. I can't spell today, so doesn't appeal to me. Bungee jumping really doesn't appeal to me. What doesn't appeal to you? What is something you don't like? Can you share in the comments? We're gonna wait for one comment and then wrap up. And in the meantime, if anybody hasn't joined yet, we've got an incredible, amazing challenge coming up on the 25th of April. That's next Wednesday. We've already got some amazing people have joined. I'm gonna show you, if I can, our community. We've got a community of people inside who have been already starting to take action. So we've got 3 challenges coming up. 4 challenges, sorry, 3 big events for 3 big trainings where we'll be learning a lot about political leader electing really doesn't appeal to me. Maybe you could say electing political leaders really doesn't appeal to me. So electing political leaders really doesn't appeal to me. We always need to start with the verb, right? So I'm going to show you our community here. So have you joined our community already? We've got Build Your Fluency, which is a free community for business owners, entrepreneurs, psychologists, basically serious people who want to learn English. And we're going to start our challenge coming on the 25th as well. Sorry, teacher. Party, I mean political party. Okay. So electing political parties. Yeah. You don't have to say sorry. So we've already got a massive 188 people over there, all professionals, people who are serious about improving their fluency. Maybe they want to get to a university, they want to pass an interview, want to get a promotion, they want to communicate better at work, they have dreams. So if you're a dreamer, we've got a community coming up, a challenge coming up with 11 days of free classes, free events, free trainings. This is especially for people who want to learn how to remember vocabulary when you speak, how not to freeze up, how to have the confidence to show up in any conversation, and how to learn English without the stress. Guys, learning English doesn't need to be stressful. If you're serious about learning English doesn't need to be stressful if you focus on that. Learning English, I would say, is simple. If you know what to focus on, if you know how to improve your memory, and if you're serious about it, it's simple. So let me show you in this challenge. Head over to the link right in the description or the link in my TikTok as well, and I'm going to show you everything. English isn't my native language. So I'm also a non-native English speaker. My native language is Hungarian. I was still able to learn to speak English because I focused on a few activities that actually helped me improve my fluency, gain confidence in speaking, and communicating more effectively. So if you want to get a better job, you want to move to another country, you want to communicate better with your friends or at work, you want to feel more comfortable so you no longer hesitate, embarrass yourself in the middle of a conversation, join our challenge. This is going to teach you everything you need to know. Only for serious people. Okay, head over to the link in my bio and TikTok or in the description below and join us. We're gonna start next Wednesday, okay? And with that, I wanna say thanks to all of you guys who have supported, all the likes, all the comments. Dilip Lama, you were the only one who left comments, but you are gonna be the one who keeps improving because you take courage and overcome your fear of mistakes. And you learn so much from the feedback. So thank you so much for supporting. And thank you for everybody else who's watching. Click the link in my bio, sign up for the challenge. It's gonna come next Wednesday. And I love to help you guys understand what exactly you need to focus on. Because learning English isn't that hard if you focus on the right things. So thanks so much, guys. And have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.